Hello, beings of love and light. What are the 9 signs that you might be going through a spiritual awakening? And you might be in the midst of it right now without even necessarily realizing it. One of the things that can be your first sign is discontentment with your life. That can be being too afraid to create change in your life, but questioning everything. The meaning of life, there's got to be more to life, and just being really discontent with work, maybe your relationships. It might be in one area, it might be in many, but you know that there's got to be something bigger to the way that you're living at this moment. So that can be one sign. The second sign, you could be going through an existential crisis, which is where you're going through a spiritual or a physical emergency. Life throws you. It can be a loss of a job. It could be family issues. It could be illness. And often it can be all at once, which is really what the existential crisis is. And that's to really get you to make a change, make some movement, because it's time now. It's time that something changes and you're moving into that awakening. And so that sort of chaotic energy starts to rumble. The third thing can be the dark night of the soul. So when you're going through those existential crises, the dark night of the soul can happen where you really are questioning everything, feeling alone, feeling not supported. The people around you may not understand what's going on with you. You don't quite understand what's going on. And especially if you haven't been on the spiritual path, it can be really daunting and a fearful experience in those moments. And one of the ways I got through sort of the dark night of the soul for me was to, I would just sort of look at, we have a community mailbox. And so I thought, if I'm feeling sort of this heaviness, this negativeness, and I can't shake how I'm feeling, I can't fix what I'm going through at this moment, I thought, well, there could be other people at this moment that's going through that same kind of energy and really feeling that. And I could be picking up the collective. So I thought, well, let's send some loving energy to that community mailbox so that anybody who goes to this mailbox will receive loving, respectful communication. And I asked for that to also be brought home with them and anybody they came into contact with, to continue this sort of cycle of clear, respectful communication. And part of that for me is what wasn't happening in my circumstances was there wasn't being clear communication. I was going through disrespectful energy to myself, but also from others at that point in time. So I thought, well, if I'm going through this, maybe someone else is going through it. So by me sort of feeling like I had a little bit of control was to be of service and send some positive, loving energy to that mailbox as sort of my focus point. So, and the dark night of soul can be very difficult depending on at what point you're in it. So the fourth space can be going into the void, and that's again going inward, but finding it difficult to sort of make decisions, move forward, because you're not really clear at that point of what direction you're going, and when things are going chaotically and some things falling apart, you just really need that time to process and grieve and journal and allow yourself to just be with yourself and be patient with yourself and give yourself grace. So that's another part that can be quite difficult. And then moving out of that, you can go into the fifth stage, which is emergence, beginning to seek answers, explore, notice more synchronicities occurring, So this part gets a little bit exciting, even though you're still kind of going through those other bits. So it's not necessarily, these are stages, but they're not necessarily not completely fluid. They can be in and out. So you can be kind of on a little bit of a roller coaster at points. So the emergence is what's nice is that you are starting to seek answers. You're starting to ask questions. You're starting to notice the synchronicities. You might be starting to see, and you may have started to see even before all the other things, stages, seeing sequence of numbers like 1111, 333, 444, 555, 666, 777, like any of those, or some other sequence of numbers that mean something for you. And that's just spirit letting you know that, hey, we've got your back and there's change coming about. Stay positive. And so you might start looking up what these numbers are. You might see animals that keep appearing, and it could be through actual physical animals, or it could be through pictures, it could be through words, it could be through anything. But again, sort of looking up the meaning of that particular symbolism can help you to process where you're at. So spirit's trying to connect with you, because often when you're going through these crises, it's hard to hear spirit in the same way. They're always there with you, but it's hard to hear them because you're in your energy is so contracted and you're sort of trying to resist what's going on and not knowing what's going on. It can be really difficult to hear spirit. So they will show you those different signs to help you. So the next stage is moving it more into clarity, beginning to see the light and the clarity of your next steps, trusting yourself more, and the support of your spirit team, because you are seeing these synchronicities and signs and symbols that are helping to make you feel supported, and starting to see a little bit of, okay, what direction am I going in? And it can be just small incremental steps. It may be big, it may be small. Just again, being patient with yourself. And you're at the seventh step, the beginning of the unfolding of your life's purpose, understanding what brings you joy and how you can make a difference in other lives as well as your own, learning how to bring that joy to others. And that can be a great experience where you're starting to see all those things unfolding. And then 8 is mentors and teachers appear as you need them. So when you have learned from one teacher or mentor, another one will take their place. So as you progress and grow, some mentors will still stay in your life, but there'll be others that may just completely disappear once you don't need them as in the same way. And because you're starting to become the teacher as well, and you'll pass on that knowledge to others. And then finally into the 9th stage is really kind of moving into that 5D energy, where you start to understand that no one is better or worse than you. You start to work through some of that unworthiness energy. You're starting to realize that you are worthy, you are meant to be here, you have a purpose, and you always had a purpose regardless of whether you knew what it was or not, just by being here. And you start to understand that with that 5D energy, understanding that no one is better or worse than you, and that love is the focus and fear is just wanting to be loved more. So anytime that fear energy comes up, you just know, okay, I need to love that fear even more, stronger than anything else. And that's sort of when shadow work comes into play, to work through a lot of these things, because it's the parts that we've forgotten and disowned, that we dislike, that will trigger us and bring us through these different stages again. So these stages can be fluid, that you can be in and out of them, but you'll start to see that you're staying in like closer to the 9th stage more often as you move through some of this, particularly the worthiness piece, and that you really need to do a lot of the shadow work to help you work through that and make peace and friends with those parts that you don't like about yourself or that you don't like about others. That because often those parts that you don't like about others are the things that you don't like in yourself either. So when you do the shadow work and journaling, one of the best things to do is to journal with those parts of yourself that you don't like, with taking 2 different color pens, one representing your current self, one representing the piece that part of you that you don't like, and having the conversation back and forth, and just seeing your writing changing between each, and allowing that love to flow between both. And when you come to that acceptance and love, that shadow piece will no longer be that problem piece, or at least not in the same extent. It'll be less and less and less and less, and you can move through it faster and faster anytime a trigger comes up. And I also like to call triggers activations, because they do activate something in our body. So getting clear on that, working through that, journaling it, and so those are the 9 stages of the awakening process that you may be going through. And just to recap: discontentment with your life, existential crisis, dark night of the soul, the void, emergence, clarity, life's purpose unfolding, mentors and teachers appearing as you need them, and then moving into that 5D energy and clearing out those shadow pieces and building up your worthiness and trusting yourself, building your intuition, and just feeling much more at peace. So I hope that helps you with the awakening process. Again, I'm Samantha Vidal. Welcome, happy beings of love and light. If you found this of value, please click the bell, like and share, and subscribe. So hope to see you again in the next video. Thanks.